Okay, now guess what? Um, I was going to go into Corinthians right away, but then, these topics, this is a good time to do them. And then I kind of prayed about, which one I should do. And this one popped up, like I should hit this one first. And so I got everything ready for this one and did more research on it and everything. So, um, anyway, this is the one that I'm going to be going over today, and it is dynamite. Okay, this one is really dynamite, and it's so important. And when I did the research just to see if there was something else I was missing, I mean, the Christian websites that had information on this, and I looked a lot. I mean, of course, I'm not going to find everything. I don't have time to look at every possible place, but and I won't mention every possible thing. It won't be exhaustive, but it'll be a lot. So they didn't even have hardly anything compared to this list. Okay, so the topic is dun da da, drum roll. It is victory in spiritual warfare and in the Christian walk. Okay, this is like the topic that we need to cover. And these days it is, this stuff is everywhere, and there's a lot of misinformation about this out there. And I mean, through my studying, I collected a long list of places in the Bible we'll be going through and special things about it. So, and nobody talks about this. And what they do talk about, okay, yeah, what they do share to do as a suggestion is actually going to make it worse. Okay, some of these books and movies that are out, that have been out maybe for the last 10 years or so, and that kind of thing, they promote something that we as Christians are not supposed to be doing. I mean, this stuff that's being promoted involves exactly what we're supposed to avoid, for especially it will bring spiritual warfare and attack to us. When you engage in the practices of witchcraft, okay, you're setting yourself up and opening yourself up to these forces and making yourself a target for spiritual attack. And some of these, some of their practices, I'm going to have to head this up first before I dive in. Some of their practices are they involve creating a sacred space. Okay. 2, they involve using particular physical objects in like prayer places and things. 3, there's such things as vision boards. Okay. 4, certain things that people say that are supposed to be almost like an incantation that's repetitive and just as if you can declare something, all right? And those kinds of things have crept into the church. Now, somebody might try to say, oh, they just don't want you to have power, and then that's why they're warning you. No, it's just the opposite. And I'll tell you why. I mean, if you research this yourself, research what the practices are in witchcraft, and you'll see all of those things. Now, when it comes to spaces, for instance, now as Christians, it doesn't matter where we are. We can pray anywhere, okay? Now, the idea of a prayer closet is a great, it's a great thing that we're told to do. And the whole point of it is that we're away from distractions. We are alone. We are alone with God. We're not showing off in front of an audience. We're just praying to God humbly, and He hears us and will deal with our prayers. So, I mean, you don't need a special place in that sense, okay? It's just so you are eliminating distractions. You're alone, you're by yourself. People, maybe it's a secret place and people can't even find you there to bother you, depending on how many people are in your life. Now, that's great. I highly recommend that, okay? These days, especially with all the devices buzzing and beeping and all that. So it's totally a good idea to do that. But it's not the space that makes it special, okay? I mean, there is such a thing as like opening a door or a portal to either, the side of God or the other side, and I'll get into that. So, but again, you can do that anywhere, either way. So, it's not the space that's special, it's the God you're praying to that's special. Okay, so he can hear you anywhere, he's powerful enough. So, there's that. And then the use of objects and focusing on something in a visual way, or yeah, like all of that, that's something they use in these witchcraft religions, the what's it called, voodoo, all these, they use stuff like that, okay? And it's totally not necessary as a Christian to do that, and it can even be dangerous. You don't need to focus on someone's picture or something like that. God knows who you mean when you pray. If you're praying about a person, even if you don't say their name, he can read your mind. But if you say their name, fine, great. But, there's no magic in it. See, that's the whole point. They are selling you magic, their magic, and it's wrong. And then when it comes to this whole thing about making declarations, now that's a kind of tricky place because I'm going to do a whole topic just on that. There are things that, it depends if you have jurisdiction over this or not. Like, we have authority to cast out demons, we have authority to over the spirit realm. In those ways we can do that kind of thing. So then yes, of course. And that moving mountains was about casting out demons, by the way. That's the context of it. But then in the certain camp in the visible church, there's a whole lot of this throwing around declarations and decrees and this and that, and it's unbiblical in a way that's it's like it's over something we don't have power over, and it's usually selfish. It's some material possession. It's something about wealth that they want, and we don't. That's not our place to be commanding things like that around, or like ordering there to be all of a sudden a mansion for us. I mean, no, that's not what this is about. So to that, it would be a resounding no. And in witchcraft, they use this. They are all about declaring and decreeing, calling things into existence, commanding the universe, basically. And their idea is that they're in charge. They make themselves a god in that sense, and they think it's all subject to them. But the fact is, God is the one above it all. He's the creator, not the creation, and he's the only one that's sovereign over it all. Okay, so it's his will, not our will, and their idea is to usurp that and impose their will. Whenever there's prayer in the Bible, it's always according to the will of God. They're asking, it's a petition in the name of Jesus. It's not a command, it's not a decree. You're not declaring anything into existence. That's the place of God, not man. So this is another subtle way the devil has infiltrated. Okay, and we're going to look at that in a little bit. The ways of the devil. Okay, so this will be really intense. Okay, I have a long list. This will probably be a 3 or 4 video series, and I'm going to get it all done today. Okay, so here we go. We're going to jump in to what we need to do and not do. And I'm going to make a list, and I'm going to go over Bible verses. And okay, so I'm going to explain it all. Okay, so now here's a list of things that we are supposed to do in order to have victory and success in our life as a Christian. This will ensure, God's protection and favor, and it will eliminate attacks from the enemy. Now, number one, it's a long list, okay? So this is just obvious. First of all, number one, walk in holiness. Okay, we need to be walking in righteousness. If you are in unrepentant sin, you're in a place of vulnerability. Okay, and that's serious. Okay, this is not a scare tactic. This is serious. Okay, you're opening yourself up to attack because you're in rebellion against God. Okay, so we won't be perfect. I say that all the time, but as much as you can surrender to the Holy Spirit to allow His power to control you, you need to walk in holiness. Okay, so that's number one. Okay, I'll go on now. That's all I'm going to say about number one. I've talked about it till we're all blue in the face already. Okay, now number two is get rid of any and all occult items. Okay, now this includes anything that's in your domain, that's under your jurisdiction. Okay, it's up to you to decide if this can come or go, or stay or leave. If you're in a space that's a shared space, let's say you're renting a room from someone else, it's what's in your room that you have control over. Okay, but if there's heavy occult activity in that house, I wouldn't want to be there, of course, because there is going to be something will leak through. But if it's something minor and it's somewhere else and it's not under you, then okay. The world won't be perfect, all right, but just mainly first at least begin focusing on what's under your authority that you have. It could be, let's just say, your house, your clothing, anything, any possessions you have in your car. Okay, this is a long list. I'm going to go over some examples. I mean, of course, it won't be an exhaustive list. I won't have everything on this list, but okay. So I'll go over the list, but then get rid of all of these things and don't give them away. You have to eliminate them, and I'll get to that. So, or otherwise you'll just pass on the problem to somebody else. So, all right, after that, do a household cleansing. Okay, pray over your house. Ask God to cleanse it spiritually, and to remove any demonic influences of any kind, that are around. And anything else He would show you to pray about. Okay, so do a cleansing. And now I'll give you some examples of what this could be. And I'm not going to write them all down. It's just a long list here. Number one is decorations. These could be little statues, meditating statues. It could be like decorations that are certain symbols. It could be something that seems innocent, like dream catchers. Okay, but decorations is one thing, and I'll go over more examples of that. And just in case I didn't mention this, there's a lot of evidence that dream catchers, they're supposed to supposedly catch bad dreams, but everybody that ever had one gets nightmares instead. And once they get rid of them, the nightmares go away. Okay, so I've heard that from so many people. I've seen comments about it all over the place on the internet. So that's how that works. Okay, so that's one example. Those little crystal looking things that hang around, maybe on a rear view mirror, just inspect everything and ask, what is the purpose of that thing, right? Okay, so decorations, books. Books is big. Okay, there's so much with books now that have influence, and that needs to go. Okay, music is a big one. Music, and I'll share something about that later. Okay, music, movies, same thing. Okay, games, any games that involve the occult in any way, any Halloween stuff, obviously, anything that's scary or horror looking, that's got to go. Okay, any Eastern type of stuff, New Age type of stuff, crystals, charms, jewelry, any kind of objects that people collect for protection. That's allowing, that's engaging in witchcraft and superstition and allowing them an access to you. Okay, so okay, anything like that. It's really like satanic, really. Okay, clothing. Clothing that might have symbols from rock bands. It could be lightning bolts, anything that just looks unholy. Okay, just get rid of it all. And yeah, so all of that has to go. Music, boy, okay, music. It's hard now to find anything that's even okay. And I talked about this earlier. Music, I mean, the lyrics are always carnal. It's always something about sex. It's never, a couple on their honeymoon, of course. It's always something else. It's always rebellion. It's always breaking the laws of God, something against the ways of God. Sex outside of marriage. It's adultery. It's temptation. It's, they had too many beers. I mean, they fell off their bar stool and they landed in bed with a bimbo. I mean, next morning they didn't recognize her, and didn't know her name. And I mean, that's the best case, okay? So, I mean, the music now, if you just screen it, look at the lyrics and strip away everything else, that alone is a reason to run for the hills. But then the sounds, I mean, all of this, it's created for a certain effect. I mean, witchcraft goes through music. Okay, these people, they put spells on this stuff to have an influence. And I mean, I would say almost all the music is bad. I know that sounds out there and I'm just some radical. Okay, research this. Okay, it is real. And these people get famous by selling themselves to the devil so that they work for him. Okay, they get fame and fortune, and he gets his part of the deal, which is they influence for him. They are promoting him. Okay, that's what happens. And you see this all over the place. I mean, there are YouTube channels and websites that expose everything that's going on with this. And that's how it works. This stuff is not going to have the stamp of approval of God on it. I mean, that's just common sense. So don't open yourself up to this. Okay, there's plenty of Christian music to listen to that's, yes, some of it's problematic, but there's a lot of it that's okay, and just enjoy that. Okay, there's no reason to be opening oneself up to this stuff. And I want to share real quick not a website, a YouTube channel before I move on. it's one place that exposes this stuff. Okay, it's a YouTube channel called Good Fight Ministries, and they put out a lot of videos exposing what's going on in the music industry, what's going on with these famous celebrities, and what they had to do to get their fame and fortune. Okay, it isn't random, it isn't luck, it isn't talent, it's something else. So go here and look for these videos. There's one called They Sold Their Souls for Rock and Roll, and there's even a movie out about it now, or it's almost out. So there's a lot of information out there to research this and find out. And, there's no reason to hide from it. We want to know the truth, the facts. This is what's happening. We don't want to be harmed by it. So look into it. Okay. Music, movies, similar thing. Okay. All that stuff, obviously, you need to just cleanse, get rid of it. Don't give it away, because you'll just pass the problem on to somebody else. Okay, and now research. There's part of stuff I didn't even mention. Okay, so this is not an exhaustive list. Just get rid of like that stuff for sure. But research online, pray about it, ask God if there's anything He wants you to get rid of. Does He want this to go? And you just get it out. Don't just think about it, just get it out. Okay. Then, and again, don't donate. What happened in the Bible with these things is they burned them. There's something that happens with burning that's special, like anything that was an abomination was supposed to be burned. There's some, I guess, spiritual cleansing that goes on there. Anyway, that way also nobody else gets a hold of it. Okay, if you can only throw it in the trash, you can't burn where you live for some reason, there's no way to do that. Okay, just desecrate it in some way, dip it in spaghetti sauce or something so nobody else can read it, or just rip it up or something, and pray over it so that nobody, just ask God so nobody finds this and gets harmed by it. If they open up the trash and find it, and anything like that. So yeah, pray about what to do about that. But the best thing is if you can burn it. Okay, and yes, pray that God will cleanse your place, spiritually cleanse your whole dwelling and everything. So that's 2. So I'll erase that. Now I have to erase because there's a lot and I'll be writing more. So, just write it down if you're taking notes as we go along here. Okay. If I leave it on too long, it gets kind of dry and it's hard to erase it unless it's wet. So, okay. Now, number 3 is a big one. I'm just going to write your will. Okay, it's all about your will. What you allow, what you do, what you practice, you open a door or a portal, they say, right? Either one, it's the same thing. To that, like if you're involved with the occult, you're opening a door to that. You've allowed it in, and they have access now. They have legal rights to stuff in your life. Okay, they're not there to help you. They're going to harm you. It might look good, but they're still harming you. Later that will show up that's the fact, but it's about your will. Okay, God will not intervene if you have opened a door to allow them in. Okay, so that's very important. You've aligned with them. You've given them legal rights into your life through that open door into the spirit realm. You've given them access. So if you've engaged in that, the harm will come sooner or later. but don't expect God to protect you and defend you from that when you've opened the door to it. Okay, see how that works? It's only if you shut those doors and open the door to God, He will protect you and defend you. Okay, now a good example here would be if you go into enemy territory and you cooperate with them, you know, engage with them in whatever, okay, and you are basically looked at as a traitor to your homeland if they're an enemy country and you're cooperating with them. You know, you could be getting things from them, giving things to them, whatever you're engaging in activities with them, whatever they are. And then you expect your nation, your leaders in your nation, when you get into a little trouble, to come and defend you and protect you and deliver you and rescue you, now. Like, that's not how that works. Of course not. They will not do that. They'll say, well, you went there, you did that, now you got to pay the consequences. So, first, get rid of everything of the occult, get rid of everything from the enemy camp, whatever these practices are, and then you will be, getting help from God. Okay, that's just how it works. Somebody might not like hearing that, but that is how this works. Okay, so I knew one lady who I told her this, and people know this, okay? This isn't just coming from me, but some people know it, some people don't know. And this one lady, I was talking to her about this, and she didn't know, and she just thought, well, because I'm a Christian and I'm covered by the blood and everything should be just fine. And I told her, well, no, because you are opening a door to the demonic and you're allowing them access. So it's like you have to choose sides. You can't play both sides. It's one or the other. He'll protect you if you're on his side and walking with him, obeying him, and not entertaining the enemy. Yeah, but if you are, he won't. So it's that simple. And I told her that. I don't know if she took my advice or not, but there is that spiritual dynamic involved. And okay, so I'll get back to that. Now let me share. So we're on 3. Let me share a list from the Bible here. Okay, a famous place is Deuteronomy 18. And I mean, I go over a lot of heavy stuff. And the fact is, somebody has to do it. People who want milk toast and cotton candy and puffy clouds with rainbows and unicorns, they can go to any of these churches and get that. Okay, I'm giving the real deal here. So, and it's heavy and it's for your own good. Okay. Now, Deuteronomy 18. Okay, here, 9. I know this is hard to see. Okay, well, I'll read it. Anyway, I don't want to press this because I'm going to need it the other way, and it's not easy. Okay, 9. When you come into the land which the Lord your God is giving you, you shall not learn to follow the abominations of those nations. There shall not be found among you anyone who makes his son or his daughter pass through the fire, or one who practices witchcraft, or a soothsayer, or one who interprets omens, or a sorcerer, or one who conjures spells, or a medium, or a spiritist, or one who calls up the dead. For all who do these things are an abomination to the Lord. And Because of these abominations, the Lord your God drives them out from before you. You shall be blameless before the Lord your God. For these nations which you will dispossess listened to soothsayers and diviners. But as for you, the Lord your God has not appointed such for you. Okay, so there is just a list of some things. There are other examples in the Bible. It mentions astrology, anything like that. It opens a door to the demonic, and it's forbidden. People don't have to understand every reason why. It's just, that's what it is, and that's it. So it needs to go. So, yeah. And it's even more than just you won't be protected. You'll even be, disciplined seriously here. So it's just a good idea to get rid of it all. Okay, so that's that list. Now, and this necromancy is conjuring up or speaking to the dead is necromancy. And that's one of the things that's forbidden. Okay, we're not to pray to them. We're not to do anything concerning them. Okay, they've passed into that other place, and that's it. Okay, so yeah, that's that list there now. Okay, next on the list here is the Israelites were told when they went into the land, and by the way, that's symbolic of the victorious Christian walk. It's not symbolic of dying and going to heaven. So there can be another analogy there that's okay, but the main one is okay, we're coming into the land, we're coming into our victorious Christian life. That's what that symbolizes. So all these battles symbolize that. Okay, spiritual battles are part of this, and we need to know how to be victorious in this way and not defeated. So they were given a lot of instructions, and every single command that God gave was a righteous one. And I know the world doesn't understand that, back then, but so they just, they need to read it for what it says. When I go over that, I'll go over that. But all right, for now, here, one command they were told. So the Israelites, when they went into the land, were told not to take any of the gold or stuff like that from the pagan temples because it was accursed. Okay, so people who don't believe that an object, a material can be cursed are wrong. Okay, they were told the gold and silver not to take it. It was accursed. It was spiritually defiled because it was used in worship in pagan temples. Okay, so there was a demonic door opened. So this is what it says. This is real. Okay, they had to burn anything to purify and cleanse it. Now, just as a side note, with that in mind, another historical fact I found out about was in the like around 313 or whenever around then that Constantine popped up on the scene in Rome. Okay, he did a lot of harm, and a lot of people don't know. That's another good thing to research historically what actually happened with him. But one of the things he did, okay, he had these big cathedrals built. They used to meet in homes, and he built these big cathedrals for them. And it kind of changed the whole order of what happened when the church met. But another thing he did, and there's a long list, okay, another thing he did was he took the gold and silver from those altars from pagan temples that was cursed, and he put it in the cathedrals. Okay, he used it for the altars of those cathedrals, and it was because he knew there would be a curse on that. Okay, he was not a friend. Okay, so anyway, that was a very interesting detail to find out. Now, speaking of accursed items. Now I'm going to get into another Bible verse. It just explains so much. Okay. Now it is a case over in, it's Joshua chapter 7. Okay, this is really a great example of the dynamics of spiritual warfare. So if anybody still doesn't believe me about accursed items, oh, just wait. Okay. So now, first, what they were doing, they were entering the land and they were just beginning to take it over, and they were having the victory. Okay. So they were going in and they were conquering and they had the victory, and the nations, or not nations but peoples, cities, really what it was, they were seeing this and they were being struck with fear because that's what was happening. And so it was good so far. Okay. And then it changed. So here, I mean, the end of this was, so the Lord was with Joshua, and his fame spread throughout all the country. Okay. They were having victory, and this word was getting out that they were coming in and they were conquering. Okay. So they knew, our time's up here. So they knew this now. But then something happens in chapter 7. Okay. I'm going to read a lot of this. So wait. I got to read this verse 6, verse 18, just to, here it says, okay, God is commanding them, verse 18, and you by all means abstain from the accursed things, lest you become accursed when you take of the accursed things, and make the camp of Israel a curse and trouble it. Okay, so it's right here, this verse 18. So that was forbidden. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now here, verse 1, chapter 7, verse 1. But the children of Israel committed a trespass regarding the accursed things. For Achan, the son of Carmi, the son of Zabdi, the son of Zerah of the tribe of Judah, took of the accursed things. So the anger of the Lord burned against the children of Israel. Okay, 2. Now Joshua sent men from Jericho to Ai, okay, not Ai. Ai is the name of the town. Whenever I see that, I think, yeah, okay, of that. So, all right, from Jericho to Ai, which is beside Beth Aven on the east side of Bethel, and spoke to them, saying, Go up and spy out the country. So the men went up and spied out Ai, and they returned to Joshua and said to him, Do not let all the people go up, but let about 2,000 or 3,000 men go up and attack Ai. Do not weary all the people there, for the people of Ai are few. So about 3,000 men went up there from the people, but they fled before the men of Ai. And the men of Ai struck down about 36 men, for they chased them from before the gate as far as Shebarim, and struck them down on the descent. Therefore the hearts of the people melted and became like water. Then Joshua tore his clothes. Okay, but first notice what happened. Instead of victory, they were defeated. Why? Because of the accursed thing. And they were told, don't take the accursed things. They disobeyed, rebellion, they got in trouble. I mean, the same thing over and over again, right? From the Garden of Eden. Yeah. Okay. Now, verse 6. Then Joshua tore his clothes and fell to the earth on his face before the ark of the Lord until evening, he and the elders of Israel. And they put dust on their heads. And Joshua said, Alas, Lord God, why have you brought this people over the Jordan at all to deliver us into the hand of the Amorites to destroy us? Oh, that we had been content and dwelt on the other side of the Jordan. O Lord, what shall I say when Israel turns its back before its enemies? For the Canaanites and all the inhabitants of the land will hear it and surround us and cut off our name from the earth. Then what will you do for your great name? Okay, so I mean, now Joshua has his moment of meltdown here, and and this has been going on all throughout the time from they left. They were crying out, why you brought us out in the wilderness to kill us, and why didn't we just stay in Egypt? Well, now it's this. Why did we even bother crossing the Jordan? Because we're all going to die. So it's the same concern that they had all the time. And they need to cross the Jordan because that is entering into the victorious Christian life. That's what it symbolizes. Okay, they needed to go into the land. So it was necessary. And anyway, so here Joshua has his panic moment, and it's so typical, like, God, you did this. No, it happened because they didn't listen to him and what he said to do, right? It's so typical. But anyway, it's typical man, okay? That's all I'm going to say. So it's just what happens all the time. Okay, so here he laments all this, and then what's going to happen and all that. Okay, now here it gets interesting. So the Lord said to Joshua, Get up, why do you lie thus on your face? Israel has sinned, and they have also transgressed my covenant, which I commanded them, for they have even taken some of the accursed things, and have both stolen and deceived, and they have also put it among their own stuff. Okay. Yeah, so 12. Therefore, the children of Israel could not stand before their enemies, but turned their backs before their enemies because they have become doomed to destruction. There's the principle right there. Okay, neither will I be with you anymore unless you destroy the accursed from among you. Okay, that's how this works. 13. Get up, sanctify the people, and say, Sanctify yourselves for tomorrow, because thus says the Lord God of Israel, there is an accursed thing in your midst, O Israel. You cannot stand before your enemies until you take away the accursed thing from among you. Okay. 14. In the morning, therefore, you shall be brought according to your tribes, and it shall be that the tribe which the Lord takes shall come according to families, and the family which the Lord takes shall come by households, and the household which the Lord takes shall come man by man. Then it shall be that he who is taken with the accursed thing shall be burned with fire, he and all that he has, because he has transgressed the covenant of the Lord, and because he has done a disgraceful thing in Israel. Okay, so this is what happens. Okay, in 16, it just says Joshua rose early in the morning, and he brought them all by this order, tribes, households, families, men. And so it turns out all the way down here that Achan, the son of Carmi, the son of, all this, was taken. So he's the one who did it, and he's the one who was taken. Okay. 19. Now Joshua said to Achan, my son, I beg you, give glory to the Lord God of Israel, and make confession to him, and tell me now what you have done. Do not hide it from me. So here, and Achan answered Joshua and said, indeed, I have sinned against the Lord God of Israel, and this is what I have done. When I saw among the spoils a beautiful Babylonian garment, 200 shekels of silver, and a wedge of gold weighing 50 shekels, I coveted them and took them. And there they are, hidden in the earth in the midst of my tent with the silver under it. Okay, so it wasn't a cursed thing, the Babylonian garment. I mean, research that. But anyway, all of this happened to be accursed, and he knew it, and he took it. Okay, so Joshua sent messengers, and they ran to the tent, and there it was, hidden in his tent with the silver under it. And they took them from the midst of the tent, brought them to Joshua and to all the children of Israel, and laid them out before the Lord. Okay, and then it says here, let's see. Okay, so basically he was stoned, which is what the Old Testament mandates included, and they burned all that stuff with him. So that was it, in the fire. Okay, now some people would complain, and like that was too harsh, and this and that, and I mean, this is one thing, but consider this: they never think about this because of his rebellion. Oh, right over here, it says it. 36 men, innocent men, were killed. They died because of his sin, what he did, taking the accursed things in rebellion. Okay, so nobody ever cries about these 36 men. What about them? Their lives are gone. So that was justice. Like, okay, life for a life, all that. So if somebody wants to complain, let them complain, but whatever. Okay, so that's that. And then 8. So, okay, here, this story goes on now. Okay, and then they raised a heap of stones, and it's there to this day. Okay, now in 8, so verse 1, now the Lord said to Joshua, do not be afraid, nor be dismayed. Take all the people of war with you, and arise, go up to Ai. See, I have given into your hand the king of Ai, his people, his city, and his land. And you shall do to Ai and its king as you did to Jericho and its king. Only its spoil and its cattle you shall take as booty for yourselves. Lay an ambush for the city behind it. Okay, now this was obviously stuff that wasn't defiled, that they were allowed to take. Okay, all right. Now, so Joshua arose and all the people of war to go up against Ai, and Joshua chose 30,000 mighty men of valor and sent them away by night. And he commanded them, saying, he gives them all these instructions. And basically what happens is, I mean, it's pretty long. I mean, you can read it, but they get the victory, and everybody gets killed, like an Ai. Okay, so they get the victory and they take it over. So that's how that works. Okay, so this whole thing is about victory and defeat and what makes it work one way or the other. Okay, so that's that whole lesson on that. Now, so wait a minute. In Joshua 22, I have a note for that. So 22 verse 20. Oh, here. It just mentions it. Did not Achan the son of Zerah commit a trespass in the accursed thing, and wrath fell on all the congregation of Israel? and that man did not perish alone in his iniquity. Okay, so like those other men died, unfortunately, too. Okay, so, oh, all right, that's that for Joshua. And now Acts 19, and I just did this not too long ago, but I'll just mention it again for the purposes of this video. Okay, Acts 19, 18 to 19. This is that where it was in Ephesus and there was a lot of occult activity going on. And so, all right, and many who had believed came confessing and telling their deeds. Also, many of those who had practiced magic brought their books together and burned them in the sight of all. And they counted up the value of them, and it totaled 50,000 pieces of silver. All right, so it's a sacrifice that must be made. So the word of the Lord grew mightily and prevailed. Okay, so that was what we need. That's what we need to do with that. Okay, now moving on to number 4. Oh, wow, I'm already at 51 minutes. Okay, all right, I'll stop this video and I'll start the next one, and that will start with 4. Okay, I'll be right back.